Hi there, welcome. This is In the Garage Wrestling. I am your host, ND freaking P. This is going to be my wrestling podcast, hence the name In the Garage, because we are in my garage. Two reasons I'm doing my podcast in the garage is, for one, I can smoke out here, that's a bonus. And for two, I have kids, so I don't know if any of you guys out there have kids, you know what it's like. God forbid you can't get a moment of peace and quiet, so this is where I'm going to be doing my podcast. Quite frankly, I think it's unique. I think it's different. You know, you see all these little kids, these punk kids doing their podcasts at their parents' house, sitting in their bedrooms with their fancy mics, their fancy computers. I think this is a little fresher, a little bit new, so, changing it up a bit. Anyway, this is my very first podcast, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about my background. I've been a huge wrestling fan ever since I was a little whippersnapper. I started out probably late 80s, early 90s watching wrestling. Big Hulkster fan. I drank the Hulk Hogan Kool-Aid when I was a kid. All about saying my prayers, eating my vitamins, trying to get those 24-inch pythons. I transitioned to a major Hulk Ultimate Warrior fan in the early 90s. Then into probably a Shawn Michaels fan, Stone Cold. In fact, I was probably the first one who liked Stone Cold and Steve Austin. I actually started liking him when he was the ringmaster. And I knew the guy had something. He was going to go a long way. And I've always had ability to foresee big stars in wrestling. And I think I have a unique and a very good way of doing that. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about things on this podcast like NXT, probably the biggest thing we're going to talk about on it. I'm a huge passionate NXT fan. As far as I'm concerned, NXT far exceeds, blows away the main roster, anything they put out. It seems to do much better. If we can compare last week's Royal Rumble to NXT's TakeOver, hands down, NXT was so much better in so many ways. The wrestling was better. The presentation was better. The way they put the card together, the booking was so much better. Things to look forward to. Triple H knows what he's doing, and I think it's only a matter of time before Vince McMahon passes away or retires, and I'm sure he's going to let Triple H take over the company. So, I mean, those are good things to look forward to. I'm going to talk a little bit first about the Royal Rumble, why I thought it was kind of shitty, it kind of sucked. The first thing I was really let down on was the placement of the main event. I thought having the women's Royal Rumble last was a huge failure. I thought that was such a stupid place to put it. Traditionally, the Royal Rumble has always been one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. Something I've always looked forward to ever since I was a kid. And everybody know the men's roster should go last. That's the way the show's always been and should always be. It should even come above title matches and everything. The Royal Rumble's always the main event. And I know the Women's Rumble, it wasn't bad. They brought in all kinds of stars like Trish Stratus and Lita to try to, add all this extra stuff to it. But at the same time, it was nice. But it wasn't the caliber of the men's main event, and it should have never been placed last. I thought that was really a bad decision. It sucked the energy so much out of the building after the men's Royal Rumble. It seemed like everybody had been looking forward to that. And then after that, there was just the rest of the show. The fans weren't into it. I felt so bad for poor Cesaro, Sheamus, Seth Rollins, Jason Jordan. These guys can put on great shows, great matches. But what a place to be after is after that Royal Rumble. You could tell the fans just weren't into it. Felt bad for them. It was just completely quiet. So some really questionable decisions about the Royal Rumble. Nakamura winning it. I'm not a Nakamura fan at all. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Nakamura is so overrated. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand the whole Nakamura fact. I'll give him, the guy's got a great entrance, okay? I love the entrance and the theme music and everything like that. That's pretty cool. But other than that, I don't think he's got much going for him. He's, 6 feet tall string bean. He doesn't look like a wrestler. He can barely speak English, for God's sakes. And his moveset's terrible. I haven't seen him have one good match in WWE since he's been there. Sorry, he has had one good match. That was his very first match with Sami Zayn. And the only reason that match was good was because Sami Zayn literally carried that thing start to finish. Nakamura, in my opinion, is so overrated. I don't understand why the fans are behind him. All he does is kicks, knee strikes, and stuff like that. This good vibration is so corny. It's so stupid. It's over the top. I don't understand it. I just don't get the whole thing with Nakamura. I know there's probably going to be a lot of people bashing me about this, but, you can bash me all you want. I don't get it. I just didn't agree with him winning the Royal Rumble. I would have rather seen somebody like Balor win it. Balor. I'm going to talk about Balor. I could probably offend a lot of people about Balor here too. I find Balor's a great wrestler. He really is. He's got such a great moveset. He's got a great entrance and stuff like that. He lacks a little personality, but, I think that will come in time if they give him a little more chance, a little bit, chance to shine a little bit there. But he does lack a little personality, a little charisma. He needs to work on that. But as far as this guy being a main event star, I just don't see it. I would like to see a guy like Finn Balor in the cruiserweight division. The guy is no way that guy's over 200 pounds. There's just no possible way. And I think he would be a great asset to that cruiserweight division. He could go on the cruiserweight division, win the title, and he could really, because he's got so many people following him, he's got such a huge fan base, he could really make the cruiserweight division relevant. I think it would be a huge asset to that, because I just can't see that guy competing against guys like a Braun Strowman or a Brock Lesnar. Realistically, how could you put Finn Balor over somebody like that? Even in John Cena. How could you put realistically somebody like that over John Cena? Because in real life, a guy that big against a guy like that big, they're going to get smashed. And that's just the way it is. So I know some people might not like that, but you know what? This is my shit podcast, and I'll talk about what I want. Now, let's go back to NXT TakeOver. What a show this was. Wow. Gargano versus Almas. That stole the show. That is easily the match of the year caliber type of match. Wouldn't be surprised if it wins match of the year at the end of the year. That was an absolutely amazing match. I love Almas. I've been a huge supporter of him since he came into NXT. Same with Gargano. Gargano is great. What a match. They worked so good together. I'm so glad to see Almas. We finally get an NXT champion that can wrestle, that can put on 5-star matches. Unlike some of the past NXT champions, like McIntyre or Nakamura, Bobby Roode. I couldn't stand Bobby Roode. These guys have no way they're going to put on the type of matches that Almas could. So it's great to see a guy like Almas getting the chance to shine and put on these absolutely fantastic matches. Now, another big star, another guy I think is going to be huge in NXT. I really like everything he's doing right now is the Velveteen Dream. Patrick Clark, he was on the reality series Tough Enough, I believe. I forget the name of it, I'm sorry. But he was on the reality series. He didn't go very far in it. But you can tell he's a passionate wrestling fan. He knows what he's doing. He's got so much charisma. He's taken the ball with this Velveteen Dream character, and he's just absolutely ran with it. He's doing a fantastic job. Everything that guy touches are pure gold entertainment. I love the match against Cassius Ohno. I love the boxing concept, the way he came out there dressed in boxing tights. He was so good. He was just so entertaining. Everything that guy does right now is so entertaining. He's got everything. He's got all the tools. He's got that killer friggin' DDT. I love that back pocket DDT. What a move that is. His elbow drop is on par with the Randy Savage. It's absolutely incredible. Look for big things to come out of him. The other big star I'd like to talk about, and this guy is going to be huge, is that Aleister Black. Wow, what a phenomenal... This guy's got everything. He's got the look. He's got the wrestling ability. He's got the charisma. This guy has everything. Like, he really is. The entrance music, the full theme, everything about this guy screams main event star. I guarantee this guy will be the NXT champion before or maybe at WrestleMania, the takeover at the WrestleMania weekend. I'm sure he'll be the NXT champion. This guy, not only that, he'll end up going onto the main card and he'll make a big splash, probably bigger than anybody else has, bigger than Balor, bigger than Nakamura. I think this guy is the real deal. He is going to be a WWE champion one day, maybe even Universal champion. He's right on par. He's got everything going for him. and one of my favorite wrestlers out there right now. Everything this guy does is gold. Anyhow, we're going to end the show there with those thoughts. You know what? I'm going to be doing a review every Wednesday night after NXT, and probably put the podcast on Thursdays, and that's what this wrestling podcast is going to center around. We're going to talk a little bit about WWE, a little bit about main roster, what's going on, but this show is mostly going to center around NXT and everything that's going on there, and so tune in with me, guys. Anyway, this has been In the Garage Wrestling. I'm your host, Andy F&P. See ya. Peace.